Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Craig Gordon will stay with Celtic despite a second offer from Chelsea. Ian Cathro adds signing number 7 and number 8 after yesterday's defeat to Celtic. And Martin Canning is on the hunt for a couple of late arrivals before the transfer window closes. Yeah, just a few of the talking points. We'll discuss players coming in and leaving your favourite club. We'll also look back over the weekend's results and ahead to some of the fixtures taking place in midweek as well. Of course, as well as Celtic, Rangers have added a goalkeeper. We'll get your thoughts on that very shortly, Ruffy. Let's deal with the main goalkeeper that seems to be Chelsea's main interest, which was Craig Gordon. This is what Brendan Rodgers had to say today, yet again, about the possibility of Gordon leaving for the London club.
To you on Friday, told you that he wasn't moving. I think I spoke to you last night after the game, or yesterday afternoon, and told you there's no more movement. And we now sit here on Monday afternoon, and I'll tell you exactly the same thing. There's nothing new to add. So there you go. Craig's really developed into a top-class keeper in terms of the next stage of what you would want him to play. And so much so that a club of that quality was interested, but we don't really want to, like I said before, I repeat, we don't want to sell him. Our job is between the club and his agent to find a new deal for him, which we believe we will do. That'll keep him happy here and wanting to be here, which I believe he does want to be, and then we'll continue to move forward.
So that's good news for Celtic fans. I didn't think there was going to be any great appeal, Ruffy, sitting as a number 2 at Chelsea. And in the end, you might win out of it by getting an increased salary at Celtic.
Yeah, I think Craig Gordon's a winner here. You know, obviously his contract's up for renewal. Everything's going his way. You know, I think his agent will be quite easily get a good deal for him. I saw Craig was looking for a 3-year deal, and I don't know if that would be on the cards, but certainly a really improved 2-year deal would keep him happy. And I think, like everybody else, and I think he will stay.
Yeah, you always read into the manager's words when he's talking about keepers, and he's clearly intimating there that after working with him, he's taking him to another level again. He clearly thinks that there was room for improvement, and he's worked on it, and he's seeing the rewards of that.
Yeah, and he'll believe that there's room for even more improvement, Peter. But I think it's right that Celtic don't sell. Even if it was a bid of around about the £5 million mark, I don't think you sell, because you can't underestimate the value of having a quality goalkeeper. And it's going to be hard enough for Brendan Rodgers to bring in another couple of players in the summer ahead of the Champions League qualifiers without having a problem of trying to bed a goalkeeper in with a couple of central defenders as well. So Craig Gordon will get a new contract out it. I think basically he'll be allowed to sign as long as he wants, a new 4.5 year deal. Take away any chance of something like this happening again, and he's there for the rest of the career. Yeah,
there's a wee suggestion that Hibs might come back in and try and get something late on for Chris Commons. Celtic say, in fact, Brendan Rodgers said it looks as if he's going to be there until the summer, but you never know with these things, Ruffy.
No, again, it's money. Again, you know, we obviously know, well, we don't know exactly what wages are on, but we know it's a lot more than Hibs, you know, so it's coming to some kind of deal. I would like to think that Chris would want to play for the next 3 months. He would like to think he'd be part of a team that maybe get promotion, another medal, but to sit and do nothing for that space of time, you know, I think it would be a bit of a waste. But again, it's the clubs that have to come up with a deal.
Yep, just on the games from the weekend, and it also involves obviously Hearts, strengthening the squad again, Mark. They lost heavily to Celtic yesterday in the end. I'm loath to even criticise him until I think Ian Cathro gets his players in. The only thing that I can't get with Hearts at the moment is I tipped him to finish second when they had the squad under Robbie Neilson. He's dramatically tinkering with this side. A10 now, Alexander Ziolis, a Greek midfielder, comes in, and off the back of John Suter with a possible long-term injury, he's also brought in and I want to get this right, Anastasios Avlonitis, as well as he's a defender. So again, it's 8 signings, and they're now talking about trying to finish 4th.
Yeah, I mean, it has been quite a dip when you think of Robbie Nielsen's last game. They beat Rangers at Tynecastle, and the victories that Ian Cathro has had as Hearts manager, the 2 or 3 wins, are victories you'd expect him to get 2 wins. So what he has to do now to convince people he's the right man going forward, and he's heading in the right direction, is win games that you say, well, that was good. For example, this midweek against Rangers, you come up with a victory that actually shows that you're actually doing something right, and so far he's not managed to do that. But to be fair to him, it is his first job. He's not an experienced manager. He is finding his way too. He's finding his feet, but he's getting there, and I think eventually he will come good for Hearts. Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of good performances from the Hearts players. I was quite impressed with the distribution of the left back that was at Leonard Soa, that was at Hamilton Accies. They brought on Julie at the tail end of the second half. He looked as if he had a trick or two. So I think Mark's right, Ruffy. You just got to give him time.
Yeah, I think we all agree. Yeah, he needs time. He's got 16,000 supporters there. If they don't beat Rangers, if Hibs beat them, supporters turn very quickly, and then everybody's got to defend them. It's okay saying let's wait till the end of the season. And Budge has already come out and said when Robbie Nielsen was there, we're looking for improvement. Every year on year we want improvement. Finishing 4th won't be an improvement. And if there's no cup run, then obviously they're the ones that will have to tell everybody why he was the right appointment.
Yeah, and off the back of that, they've got a very good manager at St Johnstone, chasing them down. They're now level in points with them, and after that 3-0 win at the weekend against Hamilton Accies, Tommy Wright, he's got a really good side there in St Johnstone, and they're always vying for 4th and 3rd.
Yeah, one thing that we do know, you never rule out Tommy Wright, you never rule out St Johnstone. They're consistent. They had that wee dip kind of November, December time, Peter, but they've managed to come through that, and they will take Hearts all the way. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and I just wonder when Tommy Wright will get his chance to go, with all respect to St Johnstone, to go and show what he can do on a bigger stage, because he has been absolutely consistent, won the Scottish Cup with them, and kept him in that top 4 for 3 years.
Yeah, here's the results from the Premiership at the weekend. Of course, Aberdeen with that good win. They're still obviously being linked with an interest in Chris Commons. Whether they're able to get a late signing in the window remains to be seen. Rangers down to 10 men, impressive in the end against the 10 men of Motherwell with a 2-0 win. It was a blank up at the Tulloch Stadium, and of course Kilmarnock. Chris Boyd can lay claim to the quickest ever Premier League goal, as well as the top goal scorer in the Premier League history. And Hamilton Accies, Ruffy, just getting your thoughts before we go to the break. Accies, Martin Canning wants to bring in a couple, maybe a defender and a striker.
Yeah, well, we've obviously heard that the supporters aren't particularly happy when they see other clubs bringing in players. Not a lot of players, but Hamilton haven't. They've always went for the youth. I think, like supporters, you want to see new faces. You want to see your team getting changed a wee bit, and they've got to change things around very quickly.
Yeah, and can I mention this to you? Rangers, obviously, it was a good win. I mean, everybody's singing the praises of Kenny Miller. It's just fantastic. He just keeps producing week in and week out. They've obviously just about to complete the whole deal for Jack Anick as a £250,000 move will be finalised, I would imagine, by the end of today, as a goalkeeper, as a backup goalkeeper. It's a strange thing for them to be spending money on.
I agree with you, Peter. I mean, I'm not contradicting myself here. I'm just earlier talking about the importance of having a good goalkeeper at Celtic with Craig Gordon. But for Rangers, when money's tight, yeah, I agree with you. 250 grand and a backup goalkeeper. I thought that would have gone towards getting another outfield player in. But the signings that he has made, Kenny Miller, you're right. Once again, absolutely terrific. He's priceless, best player by a mile this season. Lee Wallace was great again, but I do like the look of Hindman as well. and it's just at the moment it appears to be only to the end of the season, so they've only got him for 3 or 4 months, but certainly enjoy him while he's there because he's a quality player.
Yep. No surprise, or is it a surprise, Ruffy? Scott McDonald, Motherwell are appealing the red card from that game at the weekend.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought it was a bit rash. Obviously, they'd already made a decision with the Rangers player, but I still think if you look at it again and analyse it, I don't think it was as bad as the Rangers player. So I think there's a wee chance he might go for that one.
Okay, thanks to Ruffy and Mark. They're going to join me in the second part of the programme. We will be discussing the Championship. Of course, Hibs just continue to pull further away from Dundee United. So we'll look at the Championship, the other results from the weekend, and then we'll get the guys' thoughts on the value of the FA Cup in England. It looks as if everyone is now showing contempt for the grand old tournament. Join us after the break for more football chat. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me. Peter Martin, our bookroom guest, as ever on a Monday, is Mark Guidi. So from the Premier League to the Championship, and yet again another good weekend, Ruffy, for the Highbees.
Yeah, and Neil Lennon will be happy about getting down there. I think Queen of the South have proved an obstacle to a lot of teams this season, and they have strengthened as well. But I think just to come away 1-0, get away, and then look at the fixtures that are coming up, and it's also good, obviously, when a team's run about you dropping points.
Yep, and of course John McGinn coming back after that injury. It's been a real bonus getting him back, and I think most of the Hibs players commenting on the fact they feel as if they've got a new signing in him.
Yeah, he's been terrific, and scoring against Dundee United as well when he came off the bench and getting that goal at the weekend. So he's like a new signing for Neil Lennon. The good thing is too that I don't think he's attracted the attention that would make him a target for a club just now. So the good thing, Neil Lennon knows he's got him for the next 4 months. They'll have a task holding on to him in the summer because there's bigger teams looking at him. But at the moment, any victory away from home is a good one, and it just keeps that bit of distance for Hibs at the top. Yeah,
you just wonder if maybe, and I know I mentioned it just before the break, you just wonder if Hibs maybe try their arm right at the 11th hour with Chris Commons.
Yeah. Listen, they will. Neil Lennon will make a personal call to Brendan Rodgers, to Peter Lawwell, Leanne Dempster. There's a working relationship there between the clubs, and as Ruffy said, for Chris Commons, he's only played a handful of games in 6 months, and now that he's had a wee taste for it, I'd like to think that he's a kind of professional that will say, listen, I want to go and play football somewhere for the next 4 months. I don't want to just sit in my backside doing nothing at Celtic.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, our game of the day in the Championship was at New St Mirren Park between St Mirren and Falkirk. In the end, Falkirk managed to get the win, and Peter Houston, he's got some really big games coming up, and I think Falkirk really now have their eye on making sure they are in the playoffs.
Absolutely, 3 tremendous fixtures to come up against, but we could set ourselves a right good target. We could, we'll look at it one at a time. Dunfermline's a derby match, it's at home. Our home form this season has been poor, Peter. We have to first and foremost make sure it's good against Dunfermline next week. But there is 3 exciting games, and as long as we keep the squad fit, we have a couple of injuries here and there. If we keep that squad fit, we are more than capable of winning all 3. But in the same breath, the way that we've been inconsistent this season, we're more than capable of not winning the 3 and dropping points. So we have to keep the spirits up and take one game at a time. And Monday we will start preparing for the Dunfermline game first and foremost, and then we'll see where we are.
Yeah, it's a big test for them, Dunfermline, Dundee United and Morton, Ruffy.
Yeah, but I think the pleasing thing, as I said on Saturday, they've got the big boy Hughes. Grant back, big centre half. I think he makes a massive difference. He's a sort of a leader on the park for them. He looks, that he's strong, and even in the cup final that they played in, he was a big player for them. So I think, they've got games coming up. I'd love to know the bit of history that goes with this Dunfermline Falkirk. There seems to be a lot of rivalry going on between the two of them, so there'll be a big attendance at that one. Yeah, well, if you could maybe look into it and do a special feature this week, that would be absolutely magnificent, Ruffy.
two chances.
Absolutely.
It's right about Peter Grant. I was there on Saturday and they were brilliant, and I have to say Craig Sibbald, middle of the pitch, Peter, was terrific, and John Baird's 2 goals, took them both very, very well.
Yep, and of course the contrast there, and I'll get your thoughts on St Mirren in a moment, but they're still 7 points behind Ayr United, and I think Jack Ross would have been happy to see Morton dispatch those goals past Ayr United to keep them still within touching distance with more than a few games to go. He's made a lot of signings, 8 in, quite a few players out as well at St Mirren, but Jack Ross is, I think, just throwing a little warning shot across many of the players who are there and the new signings. They've got to try and produce those results and quickly.
Yeah, look, my belief in the group I'm trying to put together remains, and my belief in my own ability to do the job remains, because as soon as that goes, Peter, then we're in trouble, because the players must look to me for that and feed off that. So, that will remain week in, week out for as long as I've got the opportunity to do that. There's certainly enough quality within there, but we've been saying that for a long time now. But the new additions, I think, will strengthen us. Already today, Cammy Smith was good, Steve McGinn was excellent when he came on, and these players could be very important for us over the remainder of the season, and particularly, as you said, over the next couple of games.
I just get a gut feeling. I still think they'll make it very interesting and catch one of them. Ayr United. I think they're more than capable of catching them.
Well, they've certainly got the squad to do it, Peter, and have had all season. They shouldn't be where they are. I was there on Saturday. Jack's absolutely right. Steve McGinn came off the bench, controlled the game for them. Cammy Smith gives them that bit extra up front. Rory Loy scored for them. It's just a suspect at the back. They just don't look as if they've got a clean sheet in them. Although by all accounts, the goalkeeper Billy O'Brien is good. They've been needing a goalkeeper all season, but I think it's too late. I think they will make it interesting, but unfortunately, I do see them finishing bottom.
Well, listen, this is the month, Ruffy, because Dumbarton and Ayr are the next 2 fixtures in the league.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, particularly Dumbarton will go into the game with confidence. They're managing to get a win, which always gives the players a bit of confidence. But as Mark said, the St Mirren have got a lot of experience there. You just need maybe 2 wins, 3 wins to get into the players' minds that we are good enough to get out of this, but you need to start picking up points, because obviously if you don't, the fans start getting on your back as well.
Yep, critical time. Good fixture card coming up in midweek. Of course, tomorrow it's Hamilton against Inverness Cally Thistle. Ruffy, how do you see that going?
Yeah, and these are the kind of games, that managers will look at and say, look, this is a 3-pointer, then to get them going. Inverness, no goals again at the weekend there. I couldn't call this one at all. I think Hamilton's, I keep repeating myself, I've got 1 goal in them. If they can find that second one, they've got a chance of winning. And for yourself, Mark?
I think Hamilton will win that game. Inverness need to start picking up points to get off the bottom of the table, but I've got a sneaky for Hamilton, and I hope it works out for Martin Canning, because I think that the portion of Hamilton fans that are against him at the moment, I think it's really unfair.
Yeah, I don't see Ross County, despite the defeat against Kilmarnock, I don't see them being involved in a relegation battle. They've got the match against a Motherwell side that I also think will not be involved in a relegation battle, but stranger things have happened. But I think if they can there's a little chance they could get Stephen Pearson back as well. That would be a huge boost.
Yeah, I think he's been training with them since he returned from India, so he's got great experience. He knows the club. In there with Louis Moulton, Scott McDonald and Keith Lasley, Stevie Hamill, Stephen McManus. So, there's a good experienced squad there. I agree with you. I don't think they'll be involved in it. I think Dundee, Ross County, Motherwell will be safe, and I expect it to be Kilmarnock, Hamilton and Inverness battling out the bottom 3.
Yep, Celtic, Aberdeen, Hearts, Rangers on Wednesday night, Ruffy, which couple of cracking matches, and Partick Thistle against St Johnstone as well. Will Aberdeen be the side, based on what you've seen over the last few weeks, to end this run? 27 games now, the Celtic team have now eclipsed what the Lisbon Lions achieved in 1967.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen have picked themselves up again. I think they went off the rails just a wee bit for 2 or 3 games, but they're back now. They're important players, seem to be doing particularly well. It'll be an interesting one, but again, if you look at Celtic, the wee boy Roberts at centre forward, chance have you got if you kind of beat them when he's playing at centre forward?
Yeah, okay. There you are. A weird insight into it there from Ruffy. Even Mark gave him a look as if to say, what are you babbling on about there? Anyway, it was it's an interesting topic. We'll get his thoughts on it tomorrow. Just before we go, Ruffy, you know more than anyone about the when you were a youngster watching the FA Cup in England, everybody's showing it contempt now. It's lost the sparkle. It's a tournament which I think has just been, degraded by many a club manager.
Yeah, it's incredible because both our Cup and their Cup, it's a road to Hampden, it's a road to Wembley, and clubs should be treating it for the supporters, and I think it doesn't matter who gets to whatever final it is, there's a full attendance, and Wembley packed at the end, whether it's a small club or a big club, it's a day out, and I think the club should start realising that the supporters need that kind of thing to hang on to, so it's a shame.
Are we being just briefly too snooty about this?
No, but they have to liven it up, and what I'd like to see, if it's possible, the FA and the Premier League get together, and fourth place in the Premier League plays against the winners of the FA Cup and a one-off playoff game for the Champions League slot. Okay, and just one other thing, well done to Wolves at the weekend with regards to the FA Cup, Ruffy. Paul Lambert knocking Liverpool out.
Yeah, I think they got Liverpool at the right time. Obviously they're on a bad run just now, but no, all credit to them. I don't think anybody's seen that one coming.
Okay, thanks to Mark Guidi and thanks to Ruffy as well. Join us on tomorrow night's programme where the Falkirk goalkeeper Danny Rogers will be joining us to give us his thoughts on Peter Houston and their chances of making the playoffs at the end of the season. That's all to look forward to on tomorrow night's programme at 7. Thanks for watching.